Hey guys, it's Anna. Welcome back to my channel. So today I am bringing you my honest and probably lengthy review of Disney's Grand Floridian Resort. We have been lucky enough to stay at this beautiful resort twice now, and very different experiences. The first time we stayed there was in April of 2019. It was right around Easter, and it was amazing and beautiful. And this last time that we stayed there was in November of 2020, so it was right around Christmas time, and it was gorgeous, but it was also during a global pandemic. So very, very different experience. So the first thing I want to talk about is the location of the Grand Floridian. It is prime location. You are so close to Magic Kingdom. You now have a walkway. You can pack your kids in your stroller and walk to Magic Kingdom, or walk back if you don't want to take a bus at the end of the night, or monorail. It is absolutely convenient, and it's the cherry on top that so many parents like myself could appreciate and do appreciate, because I would rather rely on my 2 feet than on the Disney transportation system, if you know what I mean. Transportation option you have is of course the monorail, and who doesn't love the monorail? I know I do, and I know my children do, and it's located right on the 2nd floor of the main building in the lobby, so it's super convenient, and you're literally 1 stop away from Magic Kingdom. I mean, it doesn't get better than that. And then of course you have the Disney buses. Now, depends who you ask. Many people have very mixed emotions about all the Disney transportation, but especially the buses. But experience both in 2019 and 2020, we had no issues with the Disney buses from the Grand Floridian and back to the Grand Floridian. The buses were always on time, even during a global pandemic. The buses were coming back to back, and they weren't very busy. And I think the main reason for that is that a deluxe resort versus a value, because we have stayed in the value resorts numerous times, and I think just the amount of people in the value resorts and the amount of people that are really relying on the Disney transportation, the buses, I think that really plays a very big role as to why you don't see it being so congested in the deluxe resorts versus you see it being so congested in the value resorts. But of course, there's also Uber, Lyft, if you have your own car, and I know that they have the mini vans, which I hear are coming back soon, so fingers crossed for that, because we definitely loved using the Disney minivans. a lot of words in that one sentence. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about is the food options, the restaurant options. So they of course have many amazing restaurants. They have Victoria and Albert's, which is like a super fancy restaurant. Maybe one day I'll get to enjoy it, but not anytime soon, and I know that they don't allow little children anyways, and I don't think they have the patience for that. They have Narcoossee's, which we had reservations both times, and both times something came up and we never made. Floridian Cafe is a great option. On our first trip in 2019 of April, we actually had really delicious meals there. Like, we literally ate there like twice a day, every day for our entire trip. They had so many great options. They had like little pizzas, flatbreads, they had a lot of fresh salads, they just had a lot of great options. This time the options were very little, but then again, this was during a global pandemic, and I understand that the staffing is limited, the food options are limited, but they really just didn't have much. It was really just either huge subs, you know, hoagies, heroes, whatever you want to call them, sandwiches, and burgers. Like, those were really the only options you had at the Grand Floridian Cafe. So I think we just had like 2 breakfasts over there, which was fine because it's pretty standard. You know, you have your either Mickey waffles, some bacon, some sausage. I think you have like your morning breakfast potatoes. I don't even know the official name for that. And like maybe tater tots, scrambled eggs. It's pretty standard across the entire Disney World. But as far as lunch and dinner, the options just weren't good, so we never really ate anything there besides the breakfast. Now, on this trip of November 2020, we also ate at Gasparilla Grill, and I was kind of excited for this restaurant because I've seen quite a few nice videos of people like getting like great meals, and they're just like, oh my gosh, we're going to this restaurant, it's in Grand Floridian, it's amazing. So I made sure to get a reservation for our very last day, and I was disappointed. So let me tell you why, and I can link the video somewhere up over here of our last day. It's a very short video and you can check it out and see my meal. There's like a small clip. So I like to eat my greens. I love fruits, I love vegetables, and I feel like when I'm in Disney, I have access to so much more like fast food or sweets or things that I don't normally eat, that I do like to still every once in a while have my salad, have my fruits, and bring a chicken Caesar salad. So the salad came and I was very disappointed as soon as I saw it. Of course, the lettuce was not crispy. It was like old and soggy, and it was like different colors. I was like, oh no. And the chicken, I really questioned whether I should be eating it at all, because we had a flight in a couple of hours and I was just like, oh my gosh, like what's gonna happen if I get like food poisoning, or I just get sick, or I have a stomach bug or something? Like what's gonna happen? Like that's gonna be a mess, and I'm alone with 2 kids. So I kind of picked at it, but to explain my chicken in detail, it was grilled, re-grilled, refrigerated, re-grilled, seasoned, grilled, seasoned more, and thrown on some old greens. Was nothing like when you get like a fresh chicken Caesar salad, like with fresh fluffy chicken. I don't know, can chicken be fluffy? Yeah, I think when they re-grill it and they keep like, you know, patting it down to really grill it, yeah, it becomes really flat. So it was none of those, and I was very disappointed. So I don't know if it was just the global pandemic. I don't know if it was just, I don't know. I'm not going back there again. So another option they have there is 1900 Park, which of course is closed at the moment, but it was great. We did have one dinner there, I think back in actually 2017, which was our one of our first Disney trips, and we just went to Grand Floridian for dinner. The thing I want to talk about is just the property and the pools and just the atmosphere. Like I truly love Grand Floridian. The resort is absolutely gorgeous. It's stunning. The grounds, the pools, the hot tubs, like the children have the splash pad, and then they have a big pool with the slide and so many activities, and they have some of the most amazing changing rooms slash bathrooms that I've seen on property. Like really top notch, really nice. And if you don't want to be in the main pool, you can always go to one of the quiet pools, and it's also heated. It's really shallow. It has a hot tub, so just like really great options. And of course the pools are big, so you can spread out and just, you know, have a good time. And the splash pad is really great, though I did notice that this particular trip of November 2020, they did have a lifeguard in the splash pad area, and they called out Aiden, who's my son, because he was just a little bit too tall to go down the slide. So she told him that he's allowed to play. He can go up the steps, down the steps, he can utilize all those water buckets and everything and play around, but he was just too tall to go down the slides. So also something to keep in mind, which I think is great, because I remember when my children were smaller, and sometimes you know how it is as a parent, you have bigger children like my Aiden now. They come, and if they're a little bit rough or they're a little bit too fast, and you have little tiny babies, you know, toddlers running around, like you're always like, oh my god, like be careful, you're gonna like run my kid over or something like that, or you're going down the slide too fast when my kid didn't come, you know, get off the slide yet. So I think it's definitely a plus now that they have a designated lifeguard person standing there and just monitoring the situation. I think that's great, and I hope that they keep that, and I hope that that's like across the board for all Disney resorts, you know, especially the ones that do have these splash pads. So Grand Floridian is also known to have one of the most beautiful Easter egg displays, and we got to see that in April of 2019. I mean, You walk into that lobby and all you see are these giant, gorgeous Easter eggs, and they're so different and they tell so many different stories, and it is just beautiful. And when I saw it for the first time, I've never seen anything like that. So even if you're not staying at the Grand Floridian, I think it's definitely worth it, you know, taking a couple of hours out of your day and just traveling to the Grand Floridian to see those Easter eggs, because they're equally stunning and worth a trip if you're not staying there. Is when they have the gingerbread house and all of the holiday decorations and that grand Christmas tree in their main lobby. It is just, it's out of this world. And now to add to all of the holiday decor, there's also really great shopping. They have, I think it's one little convenience store in the main lobby on the first floor, and you know, it has your typical things like snacks and medicine and souvenirs and wine and other liquor and stuff like that, and just really great option. It's like, it's a small store, but like it's compact. Like it has a lot of things that you potentially need. And of course, you know, if you have kids, there's gonna be something that you forgot and you need one of those stores, so it's very convenient. And then on the second floor, they have a couple of stores. They have that basin store. I've actually never purchased anything from there because I secretly love Lush and their bath bombs, but I keep seeing so many videos of people like raving about their bath bombs, and then they're so amazing that I think maybe next time when we go there, maybe either in Grand Floridian or in Disney Springs, I'll have to stop by Basin and pick up some of those bath bombs. So we'll see. And then also they have another like gift shop store, convenience store on the second floor, and this one is much larger, and they have a lot more merchandise. And like if you're a mom who has a stroller and a couple of kids, like that store is that much bigger, so there's more room for you to just, you know, walk around with your stroller, and it's much easier. So it has a lot of great options. And then right next door to that is the monorail, so it's super cool. I forget to mention that on our last trip, which was in November of 2020, I did end up ordering in-room dining, and that was actually delicious. That was one of the most delicious dinners I've had in a long time, and I will also link that video here. You can check it out. It's a small clip. I think I ordered fried chicken, and it was like with loaded mashed potatoes and had some greens, and I think I ordered a side salad. It was a little bit expensive. I think I paid like $55 plus tax plus tip, but it was definitely worth it, and it was a lot. So I think if you were to order something like that and split it with 2 people, it would be perfect, because I was by myself with my kids, and it was a lot. It was a lot of chicken, but that chicken was delicious. It was so good, so good. If I had a microwave in the room, I would save it and then microwave it the next day and eat it. It was delicious. I don't know if they're gonna keep that in-room dining. I think that kind of had to do with, you know, the current situation, the global pandemic, just giving people options of, you know, ordering in versus, I guess, going out. So it was a great option, and it was kind of like late in the evening, and my kids were very tired, and they already ate their own dinner, and it was nice. It was nice. Floridian overall is amazing. Like, I've never had any issues with their service. The bell services has been amazing. I've heard from other people that during the pandemic, it's very hard to get bell services to bring, you know, your luggage or your delivery service, food, groceries that you have ordered. We didn't have a problem with that. Our bell services guy, cast member, brought everything up multiple times. Of course, you know, we tip him. Timing was also very reasonable, so we didn't have anything to complain about there. All the staff, all the cast members are always wonderful. I can't say anything bad about their overall service. Everyone is just super friendly, super nice, super helpful. And when we actually got there in November, I think I specifically requested that we wanted to be kind of like on the second or third floor, and I would prefer a king size bed. Children love to cuddle up and love to sleep together during vacation, so I said, okay, sure, no problem. We'll put it in and we'll see. So when we got there, I want to say we were in the resort maybe around like 11. And they had rooms available, and they said, you know, if you want 2 queen beds, we have a room available for you right now, but we don't have the king size bed available just yet. So if you wanted to wait for that, you know, that's definitely going to be a couple more hours. So we did wait, and boy did they deliver. We had a gorgeous room with a gorgeous view and a big king size bed, and my kids had so much space to play. It was perfect. So we stayed in Saga Co. I always forget. I'll put it right over here. Our building was number 5, and I believe it's called Saga Co. Okay, I don't know. Again, I'll leave it right over here. And we were on the 3rd floor, and I forgot our room number, but I just recently found it, so I'll put it right over here. So we were looking right at the marina, where in normal circumstances you will see lots of boats and stuff like that. So it was kind of partially almost like if there was like this one part of the building that wasn't in the view, we would have like full lake view, theme park view, but it was beautiful, and I really loved it. And that building in particular is very close. That is the closest building to the Grand Floridian walkway to Magic Kingdom. So if you want to walk, that is the building where you need to stay, because it's right there. And it's also very close to the quick service cafe, and everything's good over there. So the first time we stayed there, we of course paid and had we upgraded to a theme park room view, and that was it was just gorgeous. We were in the same building and same floor, just down the hall all the way to the end, and we had a beautiful theme park view room. It was just like, it was amazing. The very last thing is going to be the rooms. So when we stayed there this time, since it's most recent, the room was perfect. I had no complaints. They were now shampooing the carpets. I know some people don't like the carpets. I don't either, but the carpets were like literally wet. And the bell services guy was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Just like, you know, give it a few more minutes, it will dry, because we now shampoo the carpets, guests coming and going. So that was very nice. Room was clean, no complaints, everything was perfect. It was very quiet, but it was also very quiet because we were literally, I don't know, maybe, gosh, 1 out of like 10 guests in the entire building, if that. I don't remember which video it was, but I'll link it for you over here, from that trip where we actually were walking. And I think one time we were sitting on our balcony and we were counting how many lights in the evening there were on in 1, 2, 3 buildings that we could see, and there was like a handful of lights. So it was very, very quiet, and it was very, very empty. Room need updating? Absolutely. Is it still beautiful? Absolutely. Do I still love it? Absolutely. Would I wish they would do some updating? Absolutely. I think it desperately needs. I think this resort is so gorgeous. The grounds of it, the beauty of it, the atmosphere of it, that it just needs a little lift in the rooms. It needs a little bit of updating. But if you have kiddos and you know you want space for them to play, I recommend requesting a king size bed. And of course, if you have very little ones, you can request for a crib, so that works even better. But it just gives the children so much space to play. We have boys that do car racing, or if you have in tracks and stuff like that, or if they just want to act silly and jump around, you definitely have enough space for that. Now, to go back to our April 2019 trip, that was a very different experience. obviously the hotel was busy. It was during Easter break, and right next door to us was a young family with a young child. Now, I am not the one to complain about noise and about children whatsoever, because you never understand what it's like until you become a parent. Or, you know, if you're a guardian or a caregiver, taker of a child. It's very, very different when it's your own, and you're in it and you're living it, and you're understanding that it's not always so easy to fix tantrums or to stop a little baby from crying. So they had a young baby. I want to say maybe this baby was even just like under 1 year old. So it was a young couple. We did see them a couple of times. They were right next door to us, and obviously the baby wakes up very early, and the walls are paper thin. They are paper thin, and I heard the baby cry. I heard their conversations. I heard, you know, her telling her husband, like, hey, get me a diaper. You know, I need my pump. I need to pump before we go to the theme park. I heard them, you know, bickering that they needed to leave, but, you know, the husband was running late, as always. You know, we just heard. We call and complain, absolutely not. Was I bothered by it? I was. And I wasn't mad or upset at the family. I was upset at Disney, because I was spending well over $800 a night. I think I want to say it was like $850 a night for the theme park view room, and like I can hear my neighbors. I can hear my neighbors. And forget about when they left their hotel room and the door closed. It was like boom. It was like you felt it through your entire body. So that was very kind of like ugh, but I just didn't want to put it in my head. I just didn't want to get worked up. I didn't want to call and complain, because what are they gonna do? Like, there's a little baby. And then I was like, well, maybe they speak loud. But it really was just that the walls are paper thin, and you can hear everything that's happening next door. So I think on the other side, like how our room was located, I think we didn't have neighbors on one side, but we just had the neighbors on the other side, and that's where we heard all of the noise and all of the emotion and commotion. So did that stop me from coming back to Grand Floridian? It didn't. And this particular trip, it was very different. We didn't have neighbors. Like, there was nobody around us. There was no one on the right. There was no one on the left. There was no one across the hall. Like, there was nobody there. Our trip in 2020 was amazing. There was 0 complaints. So would I have different point of view if 2 trips were, you know, very loud, and we didn't get much sleep and it was noisy? Probably, but I don't know. Like, I guess I'm the parent. Like, I'm not going to Disney to sleep, you know what I mean? So of course I don't want to be up till, you know, 2 o'clock in the morning, but I'm not going there to sleep, especially when I go there with my children. Like, we're like up, and if we're not waking up early and going to the theme parks, I mean, we're still getting up early, getting breakfast, and going to the pool or somewhere else. I mean, there's always something to do. We're not booking, you know, these hotels to spend all of our time in there. So again, to each its own, but these were our experiences. Am I gonna stay there again? Absolutely. In a way, maybe until they do some remodeling. Maybe. I would love to stay there in the remodeled rooms, but you know, there's also so many other beautiful Disney resorts and deluxe resorts and moderates that I want to stay in that will give Grand Floridian a little bit of like you know, pause and come back to it, you know, in a couple of years and see what they have done. But it's definitely a gorgeous resort. It's gorgeous. It just needs updating. I hope this review helps. I'm sorry if this video is long, and as I'm ending this video, I did forget to mention that Grand Floridian also has an option to use a boat to get to Magic Kingdom, to and from Magic Kingdom. So that's another option. So you have your monorail, you have your walkway, you have your buses, and you have your boat, and then of course Uber, Lyft, and the Disney minivans as options of transportation. So transportation, location, it's perfect. To each its own. You kind of have to pick and choose, you know. We kind of stay all over the place, you know. We stay in deluxes and moderates and values, so it just really depends, you know, what your budget is, what you prefer, and stuff like that. But I do like the Grand Floridian. It is a beautiful resort, and I feel amazing when I'm there. I'm happy. I'm always smiling. The resort just brings me so much happiness and so much joy, and I'm just very happy, grateful, and thankful to be there. So anyways, if you have any questions, leave them down in the comments below, and I'll be sure to answer them, and I'll see you next time. Bye.